your character
Yes.
is built when you ain't got nothing to your name but your name, or when people trying to tarnish your name.
Yes.
And so that's what I teach my kids. And so I'm like, if I can give them that, then I feel like I've broken cycles, even with, my domestic violence experience, because I did as much as I could to shield them where it was certain things that they could not see, could not hear. But when I had enough, yeah, they saw that. I'm sorry.
Wow.
But yeah.
So let's get into that because
Yes.
you have a 17-year-old and a
Mm-hmm.
9-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
and the 9-year-old is with the abuser.
Right.
What's up, my people? It's your favorite light and boogie in this thing. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Can't Be Broken podcast, where we are shining light on the darkness that is domestic violence and abuse. If you've never been here before, welcome to season 2. We got 3 simple goals to educate, empower, and encourage. We're here to educate anyone who's never been in abusive relationships, don't understand why people get in them, how they stay, why they don't get out. We're going to find out. We are here to empower all of our survivors to stand up and share your story without shame, fear, guilt, or judgment, because you are strong, you are powerful, and your voice deserves to be heard. And to anyone who is currently suffering in silence, listen, you're not alone. You are not crazy. Abuse is not normal. Your feelings are valid. And despite how it may look and feel in this very moment, there is always a way out, and we encourage you to safely seek support. So come on with me so we can hop up in this thing, because we got to rise above these insecurities, release the burdens of shame and guilt, and revive our God-given power, purpose, and passion the confidence way. We about to light it up. How, and you had a 17-year-old when you were 23.
Right.
So 31-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all have a quick relationship and then the 9-year-old comes, or did y'all actually date a while? Like, what introduced me into that season of your life? How did y'all meet? What did it look like in the beginning?
Lord.
And where did
Ooh.
we take us back?
Yes. So it's easy to do that because I think about it a lot. I'm like, dang, this time 10 years ago, like each milestone I
Yeah.
remember. So the relationship was a combination of both things that you said. It was both fast, but it was also intentional, planned, and
Mm-hmm.
gradual of sorts. And so it started off with I wouldn't say with the love bombing at first. But okay, let me go back. Okay, so how we met, his cousin and I, his maternal cousin and I were in middle school together. And so he's 8 years
Okay.
older than I am. And so this
Mm.
was her bigger cousin, her older cousin. And so the cousin had did a birthday shout out on social media. And so, he was this, handsome, heavy set dude, full beard. And, I love a good, teddy bear, it smell good and he's fresh and the beard and he bald head. And then, he kind of looked like Suge Knight a little bit, and
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
yeah, so
Got you.
I'm like, I'm like, okay.
Who
So
this?
yeah, so at that time I'm 31, and so for me at that point in my life, I kind of had like a renaissance. Like I was back in school, part time. I was working at my county job at the hospital. Good job. Had just got my car that I'm still in today. I had my one child. I finally was in a position in my life financially where I felt like, I had it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm good financially, mentally, spiritually. I'm in like several ministries at my church. My family life seems to be all right. Everybody getting
Mm-hmm.
along for the most part. Ain't nobody falling out. And a lot of my elders on both sides of my family were still alive. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm, where I want to be. So, I shot my shot because I'm like, well, he looks like a decent guy, nice guy, and the cousin seems to be a good character from what I knew. So I'm like, well, if this is her cousin and she's shouting him out, maybe you know he looks nice. I mean, if he was crazy as hell, surely I would know. I think
Or
I can
surely she would.
tell.
Did you run it by her first before you went? Okay.
So I just put a comment on the birthday post. I'm like, "Happy birthday! Oh, he's cute," like that. So technically, I guess I did run it by her.
Right. I'm
I
hollering.
don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. So he
Yes.
responded
Got it.
back, and then he inboxed me, and then we just started talking back and forth, over the course of like, a few weeks or whatever. And during that time, that's when social media was, I guess, approaching, not necessarily a climax, but it was, it was
Hmm.
taking off. And I felt like in that time in my life, I was taking off, and it was just, it was fun, it was exciting, and
Yeah.
we finally agreed, he was going to take me on a date. So we made plans to go to this Cajun cuisine restaurant or whatever. So we were there. He was very mannerable. He was very sweet. Paid for dinner. He was attentive. We talked every day, several times a day. Turned out we knew all the same people.
Hmm.
Um, but we seemed to miss each other. So it seemed like one of those things that was like a synchronicity, or like, where have you been all my life? Or how
Yeah.
come I never saw you? If I've seen all these people and you've seen all my people, how come I've never seen you?
Right. Right.
Then it's like our world started meshing. And again, he was super sweet at first. It was innocuous, I thought. The love bombing didn't come until the first date, because, or maybe it was before the first date, but at first, those conversations just felt like, us getting to know one another, the
Hmm.
talking stage. So when we started dating, that same that first date, he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. The date
How
went
long did y'all
well. And
talk? How long did y'all talk back and forth before y'all went on that first date?
no, girl, it wasn't even a month.
Okay.
But
But it's a
again,
whirlwind, like a honeymoon stage. You getting to know each other, and then having
yeah.
the good, like coming across somebody who look good with good conversation. That get us almost every time,
And he's older than me.
because these jokers
He's
out
older
here,
than me.
right? You
And
mature,
so,
seem like you done experienced things. You seem serious about stuff. It's hard to see. I mean, that was the red flag right there. As soon as you said first date, let's be each
mm,
other's. But before that, like it's unfortunately hard to come across someone who can hold a conversation.
hmm
And it's like that shouldn't be this, like that should not be part of the standard. That should
it
not be
shouldn't.
part of the, ooh, this must
It
be a good one
shouldn't.
because he know how to communicate.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
So
we gotta be
you know how like they have like the little memes or whatever where people sitting like this with their feet behind them all crisscross like that. So that's how we was. Now I got to go to work
yes,
in the morning, and you got me up at 2:36 a.m. caking and talking and going on. So, I felt like we knew one another because, we had
yes,
did the rundown, and, we exchanged, common things, common people, common places, we knew where each
yes.
other went to school, By that time he knew my favorite color, my favorite movie, and we followed each other on, all our social media stuff or whatever. And so, we
It makes sense. It makes
so
sense.
yeah. So that Saturday, it was January 30th, 2016, and he asked me while we were still in the parking lot, um, would I be his girlfriend? And so I said, yeah. So okay, we go together. I hadn't had anybody ask me to go together in a while, So I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, and in my mind, I had already, because I had made a prayer closet before I met this man.
Okay.
And so at this time, when I met him, I was living in a townhome that I loved so much. It was three
Mm.
bedroom. So the third bedroom at that time was my office slash I made it into a media room where I used to go and watch my DVDs. And so I'm like, at that time, I was deep, deep, deep in church. And
Mm-hmm.
we had just watched the War Room. So I made
Mm-hmm.
a prayer closet. So, and one of my prayers was a husband and like all this stuff. And so all this stuff started to line up.
Right.
And so, the closer I got to him, the less I was in this prayer closet.
Mm. Flag number two.
Yes. So it was like he became my everything suddenly. And so that same weekend, so that Saturday, he asked me to go out. Monday, no, I was on the phone with my mom. I had already talked to him a few times earlier that day. And this is when I started to notice that This Negro got a lot of extra time on his hands to talk to me. But
Flag
anyway, neither
number
here nor
3.
there. Oh,
But
baby.
this is why this is hard to see this as a flag, and why we got to call it out, because
For real.
there are so many men, and this is not against men, but in
Right.
the way I believe God created is the man is to pursue the woman. There are so many
Mm-hmm.
men who don't show intention about pursuit. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
intention about communicating. And
Mm-mm.
so when someone
Mm.
does that
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm.
as bare minimum, it's
Yeah.
like, wow, so you're really serious. And you don't see
Yeah,
it as
like,
what you just called it. Like, why he got all this time to
mm-mm.
talk to me? It's like, wow, he's really
Yeah.
intentional about checking on me throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah. He trying to talk to a player. So yeah, I'm gonna make time too.
You ain't
Because if you
ghosting
got
me.
time, right. If you got time, then I got time. You
I
know what
got
I'm
to, we
saying?
got
So yeah.
time. We French. We got time.
And mind you, I was working at a whole clinic for a county hospital. And so this is more red flags coming with that. You probably
Oh,
gonna take us to United Nations when we get done with this interview. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Because it's gonna be so many flags. So anyway, yeah.
oh
So
my
the
gosh,
third
this
day
is
that we're
good.
going together, mind you, I said I already talked to him a few times
Mhm.
throughout the day via text, Facebook Messenger, talking on the phone.
Every avenue.
Yes. So I'm talking to my mom. He calls me. I don't answer because I'm talking to my mom, like you mentioned earlier. So I'm excited to talk to him, and I'm like, oh, okay, my man, he's calling me. So, in this evening time, so, because it had been a busy day for me, and I had a lot going on at that time. It wasn't bad at all, but just, I was
Hmm.
just excited to tell him about my day. So I'm like, well, Mama, I'll call you back. I tried to get my mom off the phone. Okay, well, Mama, I'll call you back. I'll call you in the morning on the way to work, and I call him back like 3 minutes later. I'm happy to hear from him because it was all good when we talked earlier, 5 or 6 times. And I call him back. He goes off on me. And like I said, we have only been dating. This is the third day. It ain't even 72 hours, like a full 72 hours. He's going off on me. Why you ain't answer my phone call? I'm like, what you mean? And it threw me off because, again, at the beginning of the conversation, I said I came from a family full of man eaters. So I didn't let everybody talk to me like that. Like, what you mean? You checking me? You know? Why you ain't called me back? It could have been an emergency. You must be talking to some. I'm sorry if you have to blurt that out.
That's where we got
And I'm
we got
like,
there that quick. 0 to 100. Okay.
ma'am, right hand to God.
Okay.
From that to that. So I didn't really get a chance to say anything because he took it there like super fast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you mean? I was on the phone with my mama. Well, it could have been an emergency. And so I'm telling him, okay, well, I'm talking to my mom. And in my mind, okay, yes, we're dating, but I'm still getting to know you. You will never take it, and no matter what my mom did, and at that time, no man was taking precedence over my mom.
Hmm.
That I'm going to get off the phone talking to her so I can talk to you. So
Hmm.
he take it up a notch because he see I'm not letting down. Well, fine. If you don't want to talk to me, then you ain't got to be with me. Then we done. I'm done. So I start crying, and he's like, "Well, don't cry. I love you, and I'm sorry, and please, like immediately that fast." And if I can say this, I probably should have prefaced it with, he's a Capricorn. I don't know if you know about Capricorns, but they're really mean and they have a permanent RBF. So it don't matter if they happy, sad, just won the lottery, they're gonna have the same face. So when they don't care, they don't care.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. And so he just said like really mean stuff, but then when he cut off the mean thing out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden super sweet, like this person that I was just with Sunday, because he had spent the weekend with me, because yeah. We
Oh,
jumped
y'all
into that fast.
quick. Yeah.
And I had my mama actually babysit my son too. Yeah. Yeah, because remember I told you she wasn't the babysitting type, right?
Right.
So
Right.
she babysat him that weekend so I could finally go on a date.
Yeah.
So I capitalized on the opportunity. So yeah.
Oh
And
my gosh, I
I'm
love
sorry,
this
y'all. If
space.
y'all listening to me, I am so for real,
I love
y'all.
this
But
space.
again, because I already lived through it, it don't sound crazy to me. And I just have to say it how I see it, like how it was
It
for me.
is.
You know what I'm
It as
saying?
it this is how conversations are supposed to
So,
be. Because too many times we try to
yes.
walk around the bush like we ain't trying to knock no walls of Jericho
Mm-mm,
down. Get in there and
mm,
talk about what needs to be
for
talked
real.
about so that we can see
Because
what needs to be seen. Because you
and
just
that's what
stated
breaks people
what we on
free.
flag number 3, 4, 1.
Yeah.
We want first flag. You got too much time on your hand to be calling me throughout the day. You two, we dating. We go on our first date and now mutually exclusive. 3,
Exclusive.
we get to the point where you call me one time, I don't answer, and now you down
Mm-hmm.
my throat. 4, in
Mm-hmm.
that same
And it's my
paragraph,
mama. Mm-hmm.
you done went from these fighting words to, well, I love you, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't even been 72 hours since we done said, hey, we in a relationship.
We
Now
can
you
do this.
love me,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
something could have been an emergency. When I tell y'all they will pull that, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be these two things. It could have been an
Mm-hmm.
emergency, or I thought something had happened to you,
Mm-hmm.
and make it seem like they really care.
Mm-hmm.
Like that when you don't
Mm-hmm.
answer and they call back to back and y'all don't know each other like that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
what I thought you thought something was wrong. I thought something was
I just wanted to make sure you was okay. That's why. That's all. I didn't want nothing. Yeah. So he did all of
evidently.
that. So just to kind of paint a picture, just how quickly that attitude switch. Do you remember that first episode of Martin when him and Gina was arguing in the bedroom because he was, acting like he was that chauvinistic dude on the
Mm-hmm.
radio, and he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't care, Gina, step, step." And when she
Yep.
left, he's like, "No,
Yep.
that's what he did.
Yep.
That's what he did."
Oh wait,
So
red flag
me,
number 5. Red flag number 5.
hmm
Anybody who says we ain't got to be together is your sign to say you right. We ain't got to be together. That's your
yes,
door to immediately walk away. Because if that's what
yes,
you coming at me with, that's not gonna stop. Well, we ain't even got to be together. Okay, you right. You win.
hmm
You stay. I'll go
So I'm like,
because
really, for real, you saying that to me,
and
and we just, and I was,
they trigger you.
I'm, I'm sorry, baby. I ain't mean it like that. Please
Mm-hmm.
forgive me. I really love you and care about you. That's what made him say I love you first. Then again, whirlwind. Now he want to see me every day, all the time. You want to help my mama with a flat tire. You everything that I think I need that I
Mm-hmm.
can utilize you for, you got time for.
Mm-hmm.
Only to
Because
find
what was
out
his
like he was
job? What was he supposed to be doing?
he was on unemployment
Did
and
you
that
know
was running
this?
out. No, not until like a few days later. And then he had got a temp job. And because my clinic was close to the temp agency and he did not have a bank account, I had to go and pick up the paper check on my lunch break.
Bad, bad. When you said United Nations, you wasn't lying because this number 6 and 7 right here. No, nothing against anyone who is trying to get their life back in order who's on unemployment.
They know
Nothing
that.
against. Nothing against it.
With this economy, yeah, yeah, everybody know that, but
However,
you know.
we
hmm
grown enough to know you should not be entertaining me when your life ain't, because if your life as the man is not in order, you can't provide order and protection and provision for me to submit under and feel safe and secure. Like men, y'all want a woman to be soft, but a woman can't be soft until she feels safe. And
hmm
if you don't take away the need for her to feel like she's in survival mode, the
Right.
need for her to feel like I gotta go pick up your check because you don't have a, like, already he's in your pocket.
Right.
He's not in your pocket, but he's in
Right.
your pocket because if you don't got a bank account, where you gonna cash a check?
Hello. But he was getting to get in my pocket because, like at first it was, oh well, whatever you need, let me know, and here's gas money, or he, buy me little cards or flowers and all of this stuff early on, and oh yeah, get what you want. It's cool, it's cool. And then the unemployment ran out, and then he ended up getting a temp job, and yeah, he ended up getting a temp job, and then yeah, I would pick up those checks, but then he because he has a daughter that was 16 years old when we met, that
Okay.
lives in Houston, and so we live in North Texas. So he owed at that time like several $1,000s in child support.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, he had this crisis where he had an upcoming court date. And if he didn't have X amount of thousands of dollars when he went to the court date, that the Harris County judge down there told him that if he came back in her courtroom again, he was going to jail. So I mean, ballistic. Now, mind you, I gave you his description earlier. So, mind you, like I said, big husky dude, Suge Knight. So, think maybe 350 and up,
Mm-hmm.
peanut butter brown or whatever. So he presents as intimidating, and
Right.
you crying about going into this courtroom.
Right.
So all of a sudden, well, all my money about to go on XYZ. So can I borrow 50, 40, 20? I'll give it back on Friday when I get my check. You pick up my checks, right? So you know I'm gonna get paid. So when I cash it, I'll give it to you. Okay, babe. I'll be there for you. See, you a rider. I told my friends, see you, I told them, you there for me. I told them you got my back. And I told them that I told you about my crazy baby mama. Mm,
Can we
it's a
please
whole bunch.
let it be known that when someone is pursuing you, this is to my women. When a man is pursuing you, it is not your responsibility to prove yourself to them.
Mm, no,
And that's how
no,
we get
no.
caught up.
Disagree.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
because if this is your problem, baby, I'm sorry, this is your problem. Like I need you because if
Mm,
I'm not supposed to be the solution to your problems. I'm supposed to
mm-mm.
be your support. I'm supposed to be your
Right,
partner. I'm supposed all these, not
right,
your solution.
right. Because he started off trying to be the solution to my problem. Oh well, I know you got a son, and I want a family too, and I want to get married too, and I want to adopt your son, and I want to be there for him, and I want us to have our own child, and we gonna get married, and we're gonna do this and that, and you gonna love my family, and yeah, your mama gonna love me because it's just the works. I mean,
You didn't
like
lie.
within weeks of dating, you with us at my grandma's, headstone, helping me put flowers on her grave within weeks of us officially dating. And now, mind you, I told you he acted a fool with the phone call and all of that. So it was like weeks of that. And so like a month or so after that, because of course I needed more signs. So we went to the improv to see Dion Cole, and at this time, I was already like starting to pay for things. So I paid for the tickets. And we get there,
Hold on,
he
hold on, wait, wait,
drives
wait,
us.
wait. Let me ask you why. Did you pay for the tickets
Mhm.
because it was your idea to go on this date, or was he like, "Hey, let's go on a date," and then you're like, "Oh, I got it, babe," or was he, "Hey, let's go on a date, but can you get it?"
See, during that time, it was a mixture of both. But I think this particular time, because I wanted to go and I had the money, I did it.
Can I just say
Because I'm like,
something?
of course, of course.
Because I see me and you, and when I say that is like, baby, I will. My love language is I'm all of them for real, but like
Hmm.
acts of service,
I got you.
giving gifts, like all
Mm-hmm.
all of this stuff right here, I've learned that I do that because that's what I want to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a situationship or a relationship where you're getting to know someone, no, correction, where someone is
Mm-hmm.
wanting to get to know you,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't trying to come off as a gold digger or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but if you really want to go to see that show or that movie, or you really want to go listen to that band and you got to pay
Mm-hmm.
for both tickets, baby, just take yourself. Because there's going to be plenty of other people in there laughing
See,
with you.
and see, I know that now. I
I
do it
know that
now.
now.
Okay, I have a good old time now. But back then, I was
It's got
like,
to be
well,
learned early.
yes, my new boyfriend, and we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be together forever, and we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do things. And then you feel right then you got to do it all early on because you're gonna be in there a long time,
Yep.
So have all the fun and the excitement of the new relationship. So we went,
Dang.
and it was all right. And the improv was like an hour and a half away from where we live,
Mm-hmm.
and so we drove out there. It was all good. Dion Cole had a meet and greet line, as they all do. They
Right.
always do. So I wanted to say what's up because he's one of my favorite comedians.
Right.
And so I hugged Dion Cole. Dion Cole gave me a kiss on the cheek. I gave Dion Cole a kiss on the cheek. My ex is standing there. I'm thinking he cool because I I came with you. I'm leaving with you. We're on a
Right.
date. I'm
Right.
just a fan, and he's showing appreciation to a fan. We get in the parking lot. We get in the parking lot. Oh, so you wanted to go home with? So the person that he had just apologized for being just a few weeks before,
Came back.
right
He right back.
then, and I don't know this man. I literally paid for us to go. Don't you think if I'm messing with this man, do you think I'd be paying for tickets?
Tickets would have been
Do you
complimentary.
think I'd be bringing you if I was paying for tickets? Like, think critically. You know what I'm saying? So and mind you, this is a Saturday night. And the next morning, I was supposed to be meeting his brother and sister for the first time at their church because they're ministers and they're also in law enforcement. So the whole hour and a half trip back, which part of it I had to fake sleep so he could stop fussing, but as soon as he saw me moving, he was fussing again. Well, you ain't gonna meet my family, and I can't believe you all in front of me hugging all on him. I'm like, are you serious? I am a fan. This man doesn't even know my name. Like, I literally came here with you. You were standing there. I asked you to come on so you can meet him too. He didn't want to. He was like, I'll stand by the door. So he stood by the door. I wasn't gonna stand by the door. I wanted to shake his hand and hug the person I came to see. So the next morning, we get up for church. I'm thinking it's all good. We still going to church. We all dressed up. He arguing with me while we getting ready. And I don't think you should meet my family. And I don't, and I think at that point he had already met my family. But he fussed at me so bad, I cried all the way there because, and at that point we was already planning because I was on birth control and I took a pill every single day. For one, because I had fibroids and endometriosis, and it helps with that, I thought. And then I didn't want to have another kid. So when we got together and we were talking about, because it was supposed to be marriage first, he promised that, but then the deeper we got into it, it was more talking about a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, I'm gonna marry you. We gonna get married, and my family old fashioned anyway. I'm gonna marry you anyway. So I mean, but my family ain't really like that, even though they old fashioned. They not judgmental. This is what he's saying. So we can still have the baby first. So I think we should just go ahead and plan for a baby now. And Me, okay, I'll stop taking birth control and like after my next period. And we tried for 2 months. By April 20th, now mind you, we started dating January 30th. By April 20th, 420, my period was 2 days late. And I had went to Bible study that day. And I usually wear waist trainer corsets or whatever. And for whatever reason that day it wouldn't fit. I felt like I was just like it was up here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt like. And I'm like, I feel extra bloated and big. What is going on? And I'm like, I know I'm not. Because that thought always comes, I know I'm not. And I go home and I take the test and I tell him that I'm going to take the test. And of course, he's been wanting this anyway. So he's standing by the door while I pee and waiting. And I'm like, I tell him through the door, I'm pregnant. He's happy. He's elated. Me, I'm happy, but then I'm like in a state of shock too, because I'm like, well, dang, it's been almost 9 years since I was pregnant. And oh, but this time I'm not doing it alone. It's different this time. It's better this time. I'm older this time. I'm more established this time. I don't feel alone this time. So it's got to be better. So I went head first into it. Um, he became even more controlling
Mm-hmm.
because now that's my baby.
You carrying his
And
seed. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you carrying my baby. So no, you can't go here. No, you can't go there. No, this person can't be around. Um, just anything. And then I was sick, but then he'd tell me that he had sympathy cravings and symptoms and all of that. So he would pig out. Now, mind you, I was a clean freak and I made sure the house was clean, everything before I shut down and lay down. He had lost the temp job. So by this time, he wasn't working. He wasn't on unemployment, but he was up all night eating up all my food, my groceries, and filling up my sink on both sides with dirty dishes by himself. So I get up in the morning and it's a pot of hot dog water on my stove.
Because
You've been
he's
up all
moved
night
in with
watching my
you.
cable. He's moved in with me.
Let's not,
It
okay,
started off
because
as a few nights here and there, and then I skipped a step because he was living with his parents, and his parents are in their 80s. He's 48 years old. I'm
somebody missed
41.
that. Somebody missed that.
Yeah. So he went from his parents' house to, all of a sudden,
Right?
well, babe, I want to, spend the night with you. And, I'm like, oh, okay, and we're a new couple and everything, and, Al, and everything is great. So, of course, sure, babe. So more and more of his stuff coming in, and then he between here and there, and now he's more over here.
3.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
In 3.5 months, because you said it was like the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
So in three and a
The
half
end.
months, y'all done got in
Mm-hmm.
a relationship. Y'all done had arguments. You done started doing things for him. He done showed you this
Mm-hmm.
the bipolar side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He done got you pregnant, and he done moved in your house while he ain't working and convinced you to have a baby, and he can't provide for nothing.
Because this was temporary, and couples that love each other, they go through the good and the bad, and there's gonna be moments where you have highs and lows and all of that. So of course, I can't live down this rider reputation that I had built up. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know I was riding or dying. I didn't sign up for either one.
Yes. Can I
I'm
say
just
something?
trying to be supportive. Of course.
Because you be putting these little buzzwords out there that we can't just pass up. You can't live down the writer reputation.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in the type of people, women and men, who are empathetic, who are
Mhm.
supportive, who are caring, who are nurturing, who
Mhm.
want that partnership because they want the reciprocity. They want somebody to love on and pour into, and they also want to receive it. But there's something about us that make us feel like we have to prove we are who we are. And so when you
Yeah.
said, I can't live down that reputation, it took me back to
Yeah.
when I was going with him to court to help him get access to his kids. And
Mm.
his aunt told him she ain't gonna stick around. And he told me she said that. So all I'm thinking is, well, I show both of y'all. Who ain't?
Yeah.
Who ain't gonna
Right.
show up when times get hard?
Okay. Let me put
Mm.
my cape on. Okay. Dun 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 dun.
Y'all don't have to
For
do
real.
this. It's like we ain't married.
No.
We ain't got no skin in the game. We don't have to.
No.
Y'all do not have to
Mm-mm.
prove anything. You don't have to
Mhm.
prove what you're capable of
No, you
doing. If a
don't.
person can't see it without you trying to
Yeah.
show it to them. And another thing before you
Because
finish,
mhm.
which is something that I finally learned. I know that everybody has their own beliefs, but I
Mhm.
guarantee if you choose not to have sex, everything you need to see, you gonna see clear as day, and you not
Baby,
gonna judge, like you're not gonna question and validate why you letting stuff slide. And
when I
that
tell
person is
you,
gonna be
yes.
like, if they feel like they get to a point where they're pressuring you, they gonna start getting upset about it. And that's all you need to
Yeah.
see.
Because how they feel when they mad, that's how they really feel all the time, and it's gonna come out.
It's gonna come out
So
and it's
you're
gonna get
right.
worse.
When you take that intimacy out of it and you see that
Yep.
person for what they are and you remove
Yep.
that oxytocin and that bonding and that physical, then you see
Mm-hmm.
them for what they really are, you can govern yourself a lot better. You can
You
make
make
decisions
better
better.
decisions.
But yeah,
God be
I
knowing what
try
he
to
talking
do
about.
that. Hmm.
God said, I
And
told
back
you
then,
what you need. But carry on.
I'm
I
sorry.
had to hop on those two humps before
Yeah.
we kept going because somebody need to hear it. Stop. Don't have sex with these jokers.
Yes.
And
No. No,
you
no,
ain't got to
no.
prove yourself. And you ain't got to live up to the whatever title they done gave you because it's all a mind game. He told me what
It
his
is a
aunt
mind
said
game.
because he wanted me to do that. He told
You
you that he
did.
told his friends that she's a writer because he wanted
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
to hang in there. People go
Mm-hmm.
through this in relationships. Sir, we just got in our relationship. You ain't supposed to be unemployed
Exactly.
and living with
And
me.
so, in a matter of less than 90 days, dealing with a child support situation,
Good Lord.
and to mind you, the amount that he owed his daughter's mother, he owes me 5 times as much today. Dealt with unemployment, child support. We had been to 4 funerals in between that time because there was people in his family and my family had passed away. Um, a lot of changes, illness. It was just a lot at once. And so, like I said in the beginning, in your mind, you can't leave because I've already invested so much. I've already promised and agreed to so much. I participated in so much.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the future, and I can't be the person to take back what I said because things
Right.
got bad. So I have to hang in there because then I'd be a liar. And so
Yeah.
in that type of situation where the unsuspecting person end up proving themselves, like you said, it's because the other person came in promising all this stuff. And so you think, okay, well, I have to have something to match their
Mm-hmm.
generosity. I can't just let
Mm-hmm.
them do, because again, I don't want them thinking I'm a gold digger. So I have to give, give, give to let
Yep.
him know that it's not just me taking from him, so that he doesn't leave, so that he doesn't feel like I'm taking him for granted. And then when he gets you in locked in, then he flipped the game, he switched the game, and then he have you proving yourself. And he done already took a
Right.
vacation. He done already retired from the situation. You got to show me.
Yep.
You got to prove me, because I'm not paying for no more dates. Yeah, I know you running out of toilet paper and I done used it all, but yeah, you get some more. I know I done drank all your good orange juice, but I mean, I don't go grocery shopping. I'm not used to it. My parents did that for me. So yeah, you can get some more because you do that better than I do. So it was just a lot of things. And then you see, go ahead.
you do that better than I do is a weighted compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds good. I'm saying you do something better than
Mm-hmm.
me. But what I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
is I'm tricking your mind into thinking that
Mm-hmm.
this is a compliment when in reality, this is me telling you what you're going to be doing.
Right. Yeah, because I'm not doing it. Yeah.
Oh,
And
baby,
you do it better than me.
you
So
do a better job
yeah.
cleaning than me.
Mhm. You do it, yeah. Or he don't go to sleep like that when I try and do it. The baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
The
yeah, or I don't have the patience to deal with my mama like that. You calmer than I am because stuff like that. And so you like eager to help.
yep. Everything to let themselves off the hook for any responsibility and to make you feel like they're commending you and giving
Hmm.
you the option. They make you feel like you're making the decision yourself, but they're not. It's
Hmm.
just like leading a
Yeah.
witness. Like if I come in and say, if I come in and say, so you killed John, as opposed to
Hmm.
saying, did you kill John? I'm telling
Right.
your mind that you only have one option.
Yeah. Yes, you did it. Yeah. And so the script was already written for you. You just play your part.
You just play your part. Dang, this is crazy work. But so many things are being broken down in this conversation
Hmm. Hmm.
because you
Hmm.
have so many examples of in the introduction. This is what I say. I'm like, we find out why people get in abusive relationships, how
Hmm.
they end up there, and why they stay. This is why they stay,
Hmm.
because even though the flags were there, in they give you a flag, but before you get the first flag, they're already stacking
Hmm.
up points, right?
Yes.
Then they give
Yes.
you a flag, and then they stack more points in between that flag to make you question, or you either ignore the flag or you
Correct.
question, was that even a flag? Was that?
Confusion.
No, that wasn't. That couldn't have been.
Because if it's abuse, it would look like this, right?
It would look just like
Because
this.
it wouldn't be. Because if he was abusing me, he wouldn't apologize.
He
Or
wouldn't.
if he was abusing me, he wouldn't all of a sudden remember that I wanted to go to XYZ with my mama on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it was abuse, um he wouldn't have gave me money for whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
just whatever. And it's like when they feel like you're gonna leave, that's when all the things that you've been asking for whatever time frame, they all of a sudden remember by detail and they want to do it. But then in that moment of,
Yeah.
so yeah, but it's only when you locked in that's when the tides change. And so that's what it was for me. I ended up having to prove myself, whereas he in the beginning was trying to sell himself for how he could be an improvement or
Mm-hmm.
an asset to my life.
And the other thing I forgot to
Which,
say.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I got night. Like I said, I work for myself, so I have all night. And tomorrow's Friday. So boom. It's fine.
If someone leads the idea of a relationship with, I can be a stepfather to your kids,
Hmm.
goodbye.
Yeah,
Because
and I done
this
told
ain't got
him that.
nothing to do with my children. Me and you
Mm-mm.
in this phase,
Hmm.
my kids shouldn't even be
Yeah.
brought up.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. You
didn't
already
I
looking
didn't
away to
come on
me.
this date for you to ask, see if you was gonna be a good stepfather for my kids. I
Mm-mm.
came to get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to try to sell yourself on them kids need a good dad, and that's gonna be me. That's a people people gonna be like, well, that's not always a flag.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Yes.
reason any man should come in your life and they lead with, I can be a good stepfather for your kids.
Right.
You supposed
Right.
to be
Because you
trying to
already
get
trying to
me.
correct. You trying to see if there's a void or trying to look at a void, which, and by that time you get so used to it, you don't even think of it as a void. But
Right.
from I would say like a predatory spirit, I can only speculate because I couldn't do it. they try and capitalize on whatever
Yes.
they perceive as a lack in your life. And so
Yes.
that's what he tried to do. He tried to be,
Yes.
that everything. And then me not even thinking at that point, okay, you want to already sign up and be a stepdaddy to my one child, but
Mm-hmm.
your one child lives 4 hours away,
You
and
already
you're
got
in
one that you ain't a
arrears.
daddy to.
And she was 16. And me not knowing until I was in her shoes that the woman he was telling me was crazy and was this and that, I ended up being in her shoes. He had done to her what he had done to me. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you triangulate and you try and keep everything, and you trying to tell me that she's crazy, she's this and that, so that I don't jump down the rabbit hole and find out that it's actually you that's crazy, player,
Mm-hmm.
not her.
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
had enough sense to get away from you. And by the time he and I had gotten together, she was already married for 13 years.
She
So
gone.
her husband was the main present figure that her daughter knew.
Yep.
And you trying to be a stepdaddy to mine, child?
And you got your own.
So
What you
I
ta-
didn't think about that then.
and we don't. And we don't even if you don't have a kids, but they talking about starting a family with you
Mhm,
and they're not
mhm.
taking care of the kids they already got. Why?
And you living with your parents, but the way that he had explained it to me was
He
at the
was taking
time that
care
I
of
had
them.
met him. Yeah, that's what he said. Because they elderly, my mama got arthritis. She this, she that. I'm taking care of them. The daddy, the one taking care of everything. You ain't taking out the trash. You ain't washing no dishes. You ain't cutting no grass. You ain't checking the mailbox for mama, nothing. You just there in your childhood bedroom, baby, and
Let
getting
me just
vehicles in your daddy name.
to all of my family members out there of deadbeats, of abusers,
Mm.
let me just give you permission to get in their business when they bring somebody around. Because the son or daughter could easily see as you're overstepping. This is not your place to speak. Blase,
Mm-hmm.
blase, blase.
Sorry.
But with
Mm-hmm.
that being said, one, you unemployed and living in my house. So anybody you bring
Mm-hmm.
around me, I do have permission to speak on. Two, let
Yeah.
me not enable you to abuse or misuse or mishandle somebody else's child. Like I would want if somebody had a daughter that they knew was trash, I would want them to tell my son, "Hey, I
Mm-hmm.
love my daughter because she's my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think you need to pursue this." At least give them
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
heads up. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be
Nobody did
stubborn a
that.
lot of times and do the opposite anyways,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you know you didn't just hand them over to the wolves. Can we not normalize that? Can we? Because we've been in everybody else's business anyways. Can we not normalize saying, "Hey, let me just pull you to the side. Oh, you seem like such a lovely young girl. You seem like such
Right.
a lovely young man. Let me tell you some
Mm-hmm.
things about my daughter or son that you should be
Right.
aware of. I'm not
Right.
saying this to scare you. I'm not saying this to get in your
Right.
business. I'm just letting you
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
then
you can
let
make your own
and
decision.
you can make your own decision. This is what I've experienced. You can make
Mm-hmm.
your own decision if you want to experience this, but please know. And then the
Yeah.
daughter or the son is gonna get mad at their mom and dad, and then probably go try to convince you that it's something else. But at least
Mm-hmm.
parents, siblings, aunts and uncles, if you know your nephew or your son
Mm-hmm.
put his fist in somebody's face, why you kikiing in front of this new girl face like he gonna do her right?
And the last few years, I've thought about, like, in hindsight, like certain facial expressions. Like when he brought me around his family, they all looked shocked. And I didn't understand why. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because I'm like, he's a nice guy. It seemed like everybody is a nice family. Like I said, his brother, sister, ministers, daddy,
Yeah.
the head deacon, mama was this. loving housewife. They, made all the pies and cakes and stuff, throughout, the church anniversaries and all of that. So I'm thinking that's what I'm coming into. And he's the youngest. And he's the one that, gets the pass in life. And it's always a story, it's always a reason. So his
Right.
dad was, I feel like the mom was the enabler, but the dad was also the one that enabled, but he cleaned up the mess. And so
Mm.
whenever he got into a financial jam throughout my tenure dealing with him, if it wasn't me helping him out financially, it was the dad.
It was a
And the
dad.
dad was always super supportive. That's who I went to when the abuse started getting worse, because I would tell the cousin, like when it got physical, when my name, uh when he stopped saying my name like a cuss word and actually called me the cuss words, I
Yeah.
started telling the cousin that I met him through, and she would act shocked because, and I think she knew, and I'm gonna be honest,
Mm.
I think she knew, but he was also her protector when she dealt with domestic violence, and when and yeah, so I didn't understand that. And I'm like, you come from a family that y'all protect each other and you know how to protect girls, because it was mostly girls in the family.
This can't,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't. I
Ask
listen.
anything.
When I tell you it doesn't make any logical sense,
Mm-hmm.
but they have this savior complex
Mm-hmm. For everybody else.
and like they have this godlike complex. I'm gonna call it God complex and a Jesus complex. They
Mm-hmm.
got the God complex because they expect you as their victim to reverence them, to honor them, to do everything that they tell you to do without question, hesitation, or
Mm-hmm.
attitude. Then they have the
Mm-hmm.
Jesus complex because for others, they have the audacity to get mad when somebody else abuses somebody else. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I've never said? His sister, Harpo over here, his sister was in an abusive ship. The father of her kids abused her, and he was pissed off about it. And all the
Because how
things that
dare
he
you?
said he could have done, would have done, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you putting your hands on me.
On me. Make it make sense.
You put your hands on your ex-wife.
Yeah.
You put your hands on your
Everybody.
own daughter. But then you want to get mad because somebody did it to your sister?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to bring that up
Yeah, they.
because I needed to talk about that. Like, I didn't even think about, I haven't thought about
Mm-hmm.
that in so long until you just said he was her protector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he
Mm-hmm.
treating you, and I'm sure clearly you're not the first person he did this to. He's treating you like
Mm-mm.
this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it just started like snowballing. And so even with that, when he was that same cousin, because she has three daughters, and so he would, raise them like his nieces, um and I guess have them around his daughter when she would be in town. So that was his experience with being a father. And so that was to convince me, okay, well, I'm ready for my own family now, because I didn't really get to raise my daughter. And, I'm godfather and uncle for everybody else's babies. I want my own. I want my own. I'm telling you, United Nations.
It's a girl. You wasn't lying. But it's, I don't hate that I'm stopping you, but it's so
No,
many
go
key
ahead. Yeah.
words that people don't know are
Yeah.
red flags.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
told you,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't get to be the father to
Mm-hmm.
my own daughter. Let me tell y'all
Mm-hmm.
something. If you don't have kids,
Mm-hmm. Girl.
if you want to be in that child's life and there's
Mm-hmm.
no uncanny, like crazy off the wall court order that says you can't,
Hmm.
if you want to be in your child's life, you're
Yeah.
going to be in your child's life. I don't care if that
Go to
child lives
court.
4 hours away. I'm FaceTiming, I'm calling, I'm showing up on weekends.
Yep.
We going on
Yep.
trips. We doing all of these
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yep.
no, I didn't get, ooh, and they so slick with it
He sure
because
did.
now it
Mm-hmm.
makes you seem like, well, I don't want to take that. I want to be able to help let you have this opportunity,
That's exactly what it was. I didn't get a chance to be in the birth in the delivery room or be present for the birth of my daughter because I wasn't allowed to be there. I wasn't allowed to be at the baby shower because she had people there for me waiting on me.
Why?
Hmm.
This is when we ask the questions that we're afraid to ask. And the reason why people end up in these abusive is because we miss the opportunity to ask the questions that would trigger them to show you who they really are before you
Hmm.
find out later down the line. Why does she want you at the baby shower? Why would there be people
Right.
waiting on you if you ain't nothing wrong with you?
Exactly. Or
Nope.
she hid from you for months. His best friend and her best friend dated, and they helped to hide her and the baby at that time for several months. And he was mad at the best friend. He told me all this stuff, like right before I found out I was pregnant, and then definitely once I found out I was pregnant. But she didn't want me around at the baby shower. I think she was probably messing with somebody else anyway, but she had told her cousins, and they was up there waiting on me. And um,
Wow.
my homeboy told me not to be there, and just a whole bunch of she crazy, and she was mad because I ain't want her no more. All of that. Now, mind you, like I said, this woman when I met him was already married for 13 years when we
Right.
met.
And we still
So
talking about
she,
this.
yeah, but she's mad because of you. But you single.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me this? Okay. So yeah, so all of that, and like I said, by this time I had just found out I was pregnant, and then um I started telling his cousin. She was acting like she was concerned, but then she didn't do anything about it. So I started telling his dad. His dad would get on him. He'd be all right for a few days, maybe a week or two tops, and then slippery slope back into, same ish different day. And then um yeah, it's just and then I started telling his siblings. Nobody was doing
You
anything.
did.
His mama, I couldn't go to her, and then he'd always try to make me feel guilty about being around his family. Like if I sat around him and looked at my phone, um, he didn't like my social media presence. He didn't like me going to church a lot. Where I was like in several ministries at my childhood church. I go to a different church now where I've been for 3 years, but this church where I attended for 26 years when we were dating, um, every choir rehearsal, women's ministry, uh, young adults, this and that I was a part of, like I had to stop going because he would think that I was sleeping with somebody at my church, and all of these people are literally like my family. If they're not my biological family, they're like my family. And I had to scale back, um, stop going to school because, of course, I was messing with somebody there. When he would call me at work, and then again, still he got all this time, he would try and come and have lunch with me at my clinic. And if I wasn't able to have come and sit down, then I must have been messing with a patient. I was messing with the doctor. If I didn't answer his phone calls, he would leave me voicemails calling me B's and H's while I'm at work on the floor as a medical assistant, and I'm working with my doctor that I worked with at that time was the medical director for that clinic. So we saw family medicine, pediatrics, geriatrics. So we were busy, busy, busy. And he thought I had time to answer his texts and his phone calls while I'm at work, 8 to 5. Some of the voicemails, when I'd hear the beginning of them, because they were so scary, like some of them I just delete because I didn't want to hear it because it was
Mm-hmm.
traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it got to a point to where if he wasn't with me, if I was going somewhere, I had to show him what I was wearing. I had to take pictures of where I was. Um,
Are you
of course,
serious?
that was in my mind what I thought I was doing to stop the accusations.
Correct.
Show me
And
what you're
it
wearing.
doesn't matter.
Show me where you at. Who's with you? Who all there? Let me see. Or I'm finna call. Yeah. Just crazy stuff. Now, on the outside looking in, if somebody were to tell me this, like if I was you, M, and I was listening to me, do you know how many
Mhm.
hell no's I would have said? Like,
I'm
what?
so glad you're bringing
Hell,
this up, though.
yeah. What? Hell no. What? You did what for him? And he's still alive?
I'm so glad you're bringing this up, though, because people are like, okay, why don't you just leave? Like, why are you? Some people don't even go to the point where they're telling their family members. And
Yeah, and I wasn't
I'm going to ask you flat
at
out,
first.
after all of this, when you did start reaching out to your family members, why didn't his family members, why didn't you just leave? Well, you first, no, 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 no. Because obviously this is your place.
I can
Why
easily.
didn't you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kick him out?
Because at that time I was pregnant, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I didn't want to be a single parent again.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to admit defeat. Well, I
Uh-huh.
had already, he was already all over my social media. He
Uh-huh.
was going to church with me every Sunday. We was all in each other's
Uh-huh.
families. I had been to all the family gatherings, all the funerals, and vice versa. And
Yes.
he was a part of my life, and we had did all this future talking, and it was just a great expectation.
Yes.
And I'm like, I can't do that now, not now.
Yes.
And it's not that bad because I can handle it, because if it was that bad, surely I would know, and I would know what the limit is. And then when I get to that point, I'll know to stop it and cut it off. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Because I know what to do, because I'm not weak. I'm not gonna let him talk to me like that. And then it got to a point to where, when he was arguing with me and talking bad to me, I'm talking bad to him.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna be a BNH, you gonna be a BNH.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you're gonna be a few other additional adjectives that I can put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna be all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it got to the point to where even when I was pregnant, he'd find a reason, and I'm trying not to say this because now my baby, he's inside from outside playing with his friends, but throw glass objects at me,
Mm-hmm.
touch my face, um, while I'm pregnant.
Yep.
Um, all of a sudden you talking bad to my firstborn son, basically treating him like a bastard, but then you're denying it because I'm telling you I see you, and that I'm not worried about me, but I'll do something to you about him. And
Mm-hmm.
so he would deny it, and then when he would bring his daughter into town, he would triangulate us, and but then at the same time, because he couldn't keep up the illusion in front of his daughter about not having money, he would ask me for money so that he could do things for her. But then he would do things for her, but then exclude me and my son.
Mm-hmm.
But then you telling me before she gets up here that we're all going to do everything as a family, but then you already telling her something else. So now she's an adult. We have a good relationship. That's
Mm-hmm.
my baby. And she
Wow,
has a
that's
good
beautiful.
relationship with her baby brother. And she has a good relationship with my firstborn that she also calls her brother.
Mm-hmm.
She knows about her dad now, and he don't like that.
Yeah.
So, but back then, he tell her, because she told me as she got older, I'm jealous of her. I'm this, I'm that. He didn't even tell her I was pregnant until I was 6 months. No, what she told me was he didn't tell her that I was pregnant until like we found out the sex of the baby, and then right before the baby shower.
Mm-hmm.
Mother's Day weekend, because I had already known for almost 2 weeks at this point that
Yeah.
I was pregnant. We were supposed to tell our families together for Mother's Day. He picked an argument on purpose
Mm-hmm.
so that he could go to Mother's Day dinner with his family, and then I could be by myself. But then he announced it to his family without me on
Yep.
purpose. But then I can't tell my family anything until he's told all his family.
It is the same Harpo in a different city. Oh my gosh. Like when I tell you they do the exact same crap.
They must
The
have a
ex
conference.
they do. They do. They got
It's a
to.
playbook.
It
Hmm.
is. And they study the dog mess out of that thing. Like they know all of the things because that right there, don't tell nobody that we pregnant yet. Then come to
Yeah.
find out, your aunt
Hmm.
come talking to me about, yeah, when I was pregnant, I was sleepy too. Wait, why would you say that? I ain't nobody's supposed to know that I'm pregnant right now.
But like you didn't kind of be. I noticed she was, yeah. But he didn't want me to tell my mom or anybody, but I told my mom and my siblings anyway. I just told them because
Please
I
don't
didn't want
say
to hear
nothing.
his mouth. hmm Because I didn't want him to know that I had already told him. Because I'm like, it's my pregnancy. And he wanted to control it the
Yes.
whole time.
Yes.
The whole time.
Meanwhile, you here
And he
thinking it's
did.
gonna be better because somebody's here with you this time, and it's worse. Like you can let me just do this by myself again because the
Took
tomfoolery that
me
is taking
through.
place.
He took me through, and I had a high risk pregnancy. Um, I ended up losing my job that I was working at by the time I was 4 months pregnant. My county job that I had been with like almost 5 years at that point.
What?
Because I started missing work. He's arguing with me in the morning while I'm getting ready. I'm sick. Sometimes I couldn't even get out the house without gagging. I would steal barf bags from my job in case I had to throw up in the car. And then if I kept throwing up, I'd turn around and go home. A week before they fired me, my blood pressure had gotten so high. I passed out on the clinic floor. They had to call the ambulance, and he met me at the hospital. My cervix started dilating at
Oh my
17
gosh.
weeks, a week after I found out I was having a boy. So the following day, I had to have emergency surgery, a surplus put in to stay pregnant. And then for the remaining 20 weeks until I got full term, I had to have um what was it, progesterone injections to stay pregnant. And then they tried to take the surplus out at 37 weeks. When I stopped the injections, they couldn't take it out. I had to have what was supposed to be a 15-minute office procedure turn into an OR procedure because they couldn't get everything out. And I ended up having to be admitted. A week later is when I gave birth at 38 weeks because my blood pressure was so high. That same day, he had argued with me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling him I don't feel good. He's leaving for work, a job that I got him at United Healthcare in customer service. And he worked there for 3 years and did not give me a dime until he was mandated by court for child support. And then when he quit, no, when he got fired from the job, right before the pandemic, he couldn't even tell me that he had got fired from the job. So yeah, so it's just a whole lot. So anyway, went through a hellified pregnancy, had an unplanned C-section. His mom and sister were in the room with me while I labored for 2 days,
Oh my
while I'm trying
goodness.
to while I'm trying to update people what's going on. He telling me I'm on social media. So his sister, well, he says I'm on there too much. So his sister that's sitting across the room that my insurance is paying for, she has him to come across the room to my bedside because he wasn't sitting by me, didn't want to hold my hand or anything while I labored, to grab my phone from me because I'm on the phone too much. My birth experience, and I allowed y'all to be a part of it because he said that he did not get to be in the birthing room with his daughter. So I'm trying to make it right and allow y'all to be there. Excuse me, I don't know if you're gonna have to mute that too, sis, but I'm sorry.
Do what you do.
Um, and they were highly disrespectful. And then my birthing plan, it went to hell because every time I contracted, my baby's heart rate decelerated. So they decided, okay, well, you're not dilating past a 5. We're going to go ahead and take him because if we don't, you
Yeah.
might not have a choice. So they allowed for him and my mom to be in the operating room. And even then, when he did the birth announcement, he just tagged me in the post. He didn't even take a picture of me. He just, posted a picture of the baby. And it was just basically like how he presented it to everybody that wasn't around the family was kind of like I was his surrogate of sorts.
Wow.
Even though you planned this and you were there with me, and even the baby shower, he argued with me because the dress that I planned to wear, I could no longer fit. And it was red, and that was his favorite color. And he decided on a baby Mickey Mouse theme because his family threw the baby shower. And then he made me give them a financial token of love to thank them for throwing it for me that he
What?
didn't contribute to. And he made me pay his cousin to take the maternity, no, the baby shower pictures because he didn't want me to take maternity pictures. And I had such a horrible birthing experience. I had postpartum depression. Yeah, thought I was gonna die. I thought within 6 months that either he was gonna kill me or postpartum depression, and he made it hell for me. I was breastfeeding. I told them what I had going on. They prescribed me a medication that was safe for me to breastfeed. He argued with me that I was trying to poison his baby with my breast milk and with my antidepressant medication. hmm Pulled knives on me with my baby in my arms. Yeah, because he felt like I was holding him aggressively. And if I do something to his baby, he was going to kill me.
Boy, that my baby stuff, that my baby stuff is crazy. I
That
got
my baby stuff is crazy.
low key threatened when I was clipping the baby fingernails. Don't hurt my baby while you clipping the fingernails.
That too.
Mother sucker, you ain't even helping
Okay.
do anything for this child. And you think I'm gonna intentionally clip the finger? I'm clipping fingernails. I ain't shaving his head with a blade.
And then my thing is I literally almost died to give this child life. You think I'm going to hurt
You
him?
think
He's
I'm gonna
not
hurt
my
him?
first child. It's my baby. I carried him. And then the fact that I had a C-section, and usually, so with my firstborn, I had a vaginal delivery, but with
Mm-hmm.
my baby boy, I had a C-section. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, since I had a C-section, I'm not going to have that postpartum bleeding that you have when you
Mm-hmm.
have a vaginal birth. I bled for 9 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I was hemorrhaging because the cerclage was still in place. I didn't know until my postpartum visits, and I kept telling them, like the blood keeps getting red. It's not tapering off. So they had to use silver nitrate to apply to my cervix to stop the bleeding. He
Dang.
still wanted me to be intimate with him.
Yep. Because who
I was
cares what
still
your body
bleeding.
just been through? I still have
Yeah. And
needs, and
then
you're here to meet them.
and everything was leaking. When you have a baby, like you leaking out of every hole. And then, when the milk supply comes in, I don't know if you breastfed or not,
Yep.
but it's like it's incessant. And you
Yes.
run the risk of getting engorged and all of that.
Yes.
He didn't care.
Nope. No,
Because
Hobart over
it's
here
been
was
a
like,
while.
don't pump, don't feed them yet, because I like them that big. They hard as rocks and they hurt, and nothing that
And
you're
they
doing
hurt.
feels good to me, and nothing that is happening feels good to me. I'm basically, you might as well be having sex with a comatose patient right now.
Because it don't make a difference to him. And then, like I said, I'm crying. I'm crying to the point of snot. I'm My hair's shedding. I'm
Yep.
sweating. I'm leaking. I'm bleeding. I'm
Yep.
losing this weight.
Yep.
Just all the things are happening at once.
Yep.
And you still think it's about you. I ain't had no sleep.
Yep.
Every time this baby cry, I'm
I'm the one
crying.
that's got to get up.
I'm in this house. And then while I was pregnant, before I went on maternity leave, because I had to go on bed rest twice,
Mm-hmm.
I had went from there, from the county hospital where I lost my job, a week after I had that surgery, because I had the surgery a week after I lost my job. So a week after that surgery, which would have been 2 weeks after I lost my job, I went and got a job at an urgent care center,
Mm-hmm.
visibly pregnant. I'm riding to interviews and stuff, sitting on the pillow because I'm not supposed to be driving,
Yeah.
but I got to, you know what I'm
Somebody got
saying?
to
And
pay these
he's
bills.
not working.
Yeah.
I'm on Medicaid, I'm on food stamps, I'm on WIC. You ain't bringing no groceries in,
None.
but then you want me to give your mama my food stamp card
Ooh.
to help their household and my household. Yeah. So it's
Yes.
so many nuances and compartments that I'm like, I already know what I'm in now. But it's like, what do I do? And so what can I do? I
Mm-hmm.
felt locked in. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
realized that's what he wanted.
Yep.
Because if he had took that mask off and you didn't have the baby, you'd have an opportunity to run
To be gone.
far. And then when you do tell your brothers what's going on, you ain't telling them, no, don't beat him up, no, don't do this to him because we got a baby coming. And the baby needs a dad
No, it don't.
at
Can
this
we
point.
normalize the child does not need a dad if the dad is not a healthy example of what a man needs to be?
And I know that now, because now I ain't got no problem with it. You can go to hell the quickest way now. But back then, yeah, yeah, expeditiously. But back then, I'm like, no, please, not my family. That we
Yes,
just
same,
built,
same,
grassroots, and we done did so much, and everybody likes our family pictures, and we're so happy, and everybody's happy for me, and
same.
I done found love, and he done found love, and everyone in his life is telling me I'm so perfect for him, and everyone's telling him, you know, that he's so perfect for me, and we just our worlds collided at the same time. It's just all of these things. Yeah, everything.
It's a
And
whirlwind
so,
of other people's expectations. So much
and you
so
locked
that
in.
you put your safety to the side and the safety of your child to the side.
Mhm. And you're like, well, it's not so bad. I can manage it like this, just as long as it don't get no worse than this. And maybe
It's
if I
always
scale
going to get
back, then
worse.
maybe he'll scale back. Yeah, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
be like it was in the beginning.
Mm-mm. Y'all, it ain't going to be like it was. It always gets worse. All they do is push the line and then see how much of that line they'll let you cross. You'll let them cross. And then once they see that, they stretch that line a little further. That's all they're going to keep doing.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then they're going to come back
Yeah,
with, I'm
like,
sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm going to get
mm,
better. I promise I'm going to go to counseling. I
mm,
promise I'm going to stop doing
mm,
this
yeah.
just to get you
I'm
to
gonna go
say
back to
yes.
church with you. I'm gonna go back to church. I'm gonna talk to the lady, or what you say you wanted, babe. You wanted to look at houses in this neighborhood, or you want this or you want that. I know you said you talked about going back to school, or I'll support you. I got you. Yeah, do that. I got the family. I'll hold down the household. While you do that.
With your money. I got you, boo, with your money and your
Yeah.
resources.
Everything you done built up, I'll help you maintain it, or I won't let it go completely to hell without you
Just put my name
doing
on the
everything.
account. Come on, let's just
No,
go
I
put
ain't
my
did
name on the
that.
account.
No,
Oh, he got me.
I I did make the mistake of before we broke up the very last time, because there's always another time.
Mm-hmm.
This was in 2020. That when I got a credit card, I made him an authorized user.
Yep.
But
Did that.
when I packed up his hefty bags the very last time, I got my card back. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no, 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 no,
You're
no,
not about to
player.
run me up.
What you thought this was? Yeah, what you thought
Happened
this
to me.
was? No. Mm-mm, you're not.
Happened
Because
to me.
he got newer vehicles, and still to this day, he got a brand new Dodge Ram. I'm still in my 2012 Nissan Altima that I got when we met. Every 2 to 3 years, you get
Mm-hmm.
trucks that his dad is getting for him. And then he got a history of punching holes in the walls over there too. So I know y'all know what's going on. Everybody knew what was going
Yeah.
on.
Hold
When
up.
I
Because if
tried
he
to,
can hit a wall, he can hit you.
he punched a hole in a wall, and my son's artwork is over it right now. My baby told me that too. So yeah.
Let people
Mhm.
people think that there's this misconception that if a guy chooses to hit a wall instead of you, that's
Mhm.
self-control. That, oh yes, he's upset, but at least
Mhm.
it's not coming to me. That's not self-control. That's the
It's
opposite of
not.
control. That's just showing
Absolutely.
you what I want to do to you and eventually
Yeah,
will do to you.
it will be you. Because at first it started off as before he started throwing objects or putting his hands on me. Like he was beating on the cabinet doors
Uh-huh.
or hitting the doors in my house, or he slammed the drawer, silk
Mm-hmm.
board drawer real hard, or pick up the trash can and slam it down and be like, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, acting
Mm-hmm.
like he breaking down. So I'm like, well, no, baby, it's okay,
Yep.
to flip it because he done did too much.
Yep.
But then it started to pick up even more so. But then when I
Mm-hmm.
react, oh, you crazy, you violent, because I'd fight back. You
Yeah.
step, I'm stepping too. Because when I got to the point to where he started doing it more often, I'm like, it's my house.
Right. If anybody gonna tear it up, it's gonna be me,
Yeah, yeah. Like you big dogging in my house.
not my house. Your name
Well,
ain't on
yeah,
no thing.
nothing. So I started standing up for myself, and then he would leave, and then
Yep.
I talked to his parents, well, his daddy, and then his sister, and then he started to apologize, and he slowly started to come back
Mm-hmm.
around. This is whether I was pregnant or not pregnant. And then there was a period where I was pregnant, where when I started showing even more so, where he wasn't around, but then he started picking up towards the end, like the last trimester, like he was there for everything. And then that's what everybody saw.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through hell like that first year my baby was born. Like he really thought he was trying to control me. And he'd make me, when he was working and I was on maternity leave, and mind you, because I was at this job less than 6 months, I don't even think I think I was getting 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I was getting that of my pay. And so I was getting behind on bills and everything. He didn't give me a dime. I had to ask for help. And then when I asked for help, from the county to help with my bills, because he didn't want me telling my family that I needed help with bills. He was worried that I put him on child support then. And so months later, um, when I realized that I was in domestic violence, um, he actually called the police on me first. So we were putting up my baby's crib. He wasn't living with me, but he still had my key. And he was popping up over there when I was and was not there. And so my baby at the time was sleeping in the bed with me, but he was rolling out of bed. And so the room that I had upstairs in my townhome, where my prayer closet used to be, became his nursery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the prayer closet became my ex's closet, and then it became the baby's room. And so him and the baby both shared the closet. And then it became the nursery when he moved back to his parents' house. So I was sitting on my baby's crib upstairs, and I invited him over there because I'm like, well, he should help. I thought,
Right.
and I'm like, still trying to be fair, still want him to be a part of everything.
Because
So at
let's
that
not
time,
forget. Let's not forget he didn't get to do this with his first child.
so I wanted to get it right. And so at the same time, I was getting ready for my baby's dedication or christening or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was doing a photo shoot for him. And so one of my best friends, who is a male, who is a brother to me, we've been knowing each other all our lives. He had a photo studio, and also he owns a vegan restaurant with his sister. And then his sister was a makeup artist. So he wanted to do family pictures for me to introduce my baby's dedication. And then he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do pictures for the baby. So I'm telling my ex about it. I don't want that around my son. And I'm like, he not even thinking about me. As a matter of fact, he gay. I don't want no F bomb around my son. I don't want to around my son. And you probably messing with him too. So this is going on while I'm putting together my baby's crib.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest son, who is the same age as my son, my baby boy now, was in his room with my best friend's son who had spent the night. So they hear him. So my
Mm-hmm.
ex has my baby in his arms. At this point, he was like 7 months old. So he starts to bring up, well, you probably messing with anyway. He didn't say messing, but
Mm-hmm.
and you probably lied about being raped as a kid anyway, because you probably said it about attention. You see how quickly, yeah. in front of my children while he's holding my infant in his arms. You bring up my childhood trauma while we're putting together my son's crib, while we're talking about my son's dedication, his christening. So I'm like, what are you even talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Matter of fact, I'm tired of talking because at this point, in my mind, I had already resolved that it was more peaceful without him. And every time I invite him over, it's always chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's used to calling the shots and leaving on his own. So let me just nip it in the bud and make him leave now.
Right.
So I'm telling him to leave. He's not leaving. I'm like, give me my baby. You can go. He has my baby tucked under his arm like a football. I had nails on. I'm like, give me my baby. So he ducking like this because I'm trying to take my baby from him.
Mm-hmm.
He got my baby. So I'm behind him trying to grab and reach and get in front of him to get my baby. I scratch his head. Oh, B, you crazy, you crazy. Oh, you done scratched my head. I ought to stab you. He calls the police on me and tells them I attacked him with the baby in my arms. The police get there because he has a visible scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want medical attention? No, I don't want no medical attention. But if I would have put my hands on her, she would have needed it. I said, no, we both would have been going. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We both would have needed ambulances. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I said to the police.
Yeah.
So they give me a citation for assault by offensive contact. And because he declined medical attention, he was all right. They gave me a ticket. And so, because of the nature of the crime, because the children were in the home, now this was in 2017. CPS had to come. So while this is going on this week after, because this happened on a Friday, July 21st, 2017, they gave me the ticket. They made him leave. While he had called the police on me, I called my mom because I had never been in a situation like this before, and I
Right.
did scratch him. So I'm thinking I'm finna go to jail. So I'm telling my mom, I think I'm about to go to jail. I need you to come and get my kids and know the baby can't go with him. So my mom comes, they give me the citation. I'm not going to jail. They make him leave. CPS comes to my house a few days later when I'm thinking it's maintenance coming to change my locks because even after this, he came to my house without my permission, using my key to unlock the doors,
Mm-hmm.
walking through the house. And he would still continue to call me, asking me where I was. And then he's still on my social media, so he sees me in like the local social groups talking and laughing with people. Oh, you talking to these niggas? I knew you was the HOE, all this stuff, and I'm not doing anything of the sort. So while this is going on, he's still harassing me. He feels like because this is going on, this is all the more reason to harass me. They give me a court date, September 23rd, September 20th, because I'm still letting him keep my son. I don't even know why it's considered keeping him because it's him, his dad, but I'm working. So he's harassing me while I'm at work and I have 12-hour shifts at the urgent care. So I call the police. They never come until the next day because I'm telling them he has my baby, but he's harassing me while I'm at work. I don't want to go and pick up my baby while this is going on, and I'm afraid. So they didn't do anything. So I ended up calling his siblings and telling them what's going on. His brother agreed to meet me there and then make him leave the house so I could come and get my baby. While I'm picking up my baby days before my court case, his brother tells me, because I'm telling him in detail what's going on. Oh yeah, he got a history of stalking. He got a history of harassing. He's done it to every woman he's dated.
Where was this information at last year?
And my baby is almost a year old. Everybody knows it apparently. And the brother at this time was a supervisor at the sub courthouses for the county that we live in. His sister was an adult probation officer. So all the stuff that he had been through, they would always help him navigate through it so that that way he had the best outcome possible. Now you telling me he got a history of stalking? Oh, okay. So when my court date comes and I talk with the prosecutor and I tell her everything that's going on, and by this time I done already printed out call logs, text messages, Facebook Messenger, my inbox on Instagram because he's already started abusing me, digitally as well. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is all the classic signs of an abuser. Just stick out the investigation because the CPS thing ended up being closed. I'm not gonna put your stuff on record because it'll be private record. She advised me to break my lease. I broke my lease, moved across town. I went to Safe Haven because CPS recommended that I do that. And I had done counseling, all of that. And she's like, well, if you don't, get into any trouble, and I believe your situation, I believe that you didn't assault him. But if you can make it 6 months, this won't go on your record. It won't be anything. So
Mm-hmm.
all of that. We ended up getting back together a year and a half after that.
Dang. How? What did he say?
I want my family back. I done this. I done that. And in my mind, I'm thinking because I had bossed up and I had evolved and I had matured
Mm-hmm.
during this absence that he had too. So we get back together. Some stuff is different, but then the little gradual stuff come back in. The pandemic hits. I'm at another job. I'm working 12-hour shifts. I'm doing COVID testing on people. You telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing because you don't want me getting nobody sick. So at this time, I ended up renting a 4-bedroom house um, that you just so happen to move into. You didn't help contribute or anything. I'm getting dressed in the garage because I don't want to bring anything in on my
Mm-hmm.
scrubs. When my children actually got COVID, he gave it to them because he got it from his brother who went to a birthday party. But you telling me where I can and can't go. And you telling me make sure you wash your hands at work. Make sure you wear
Mm-hmm.
your how you gonna tell me you don't even have a job? And at this point, I had already been in healthcare almost 20 years at this point, but you telling me how to do my job.
Yeah.
You're not helping me. I'm working 12-hour days, but you watching Tiger King and Love is Blind on my dime. You eating up all my food.
Not Tiger King.
Yeah, because we was binge watching stuff, right? Yeah. So you watching everything that I want to watch on my dime while I'm risking my life.
And you eating up all my food. And
Yes,
you
and
still
door
ain't got no
dashing,
job.
and you door dashing, Chili's and on the board and all of that stuff yeah. And then when you know I'm about to come home, all of a sudden you getting up and you washing dishes. I can smell the fabuloso, like the floor is still wet because you
Mm-hmm.
just mopped before while I was on the way home. So you done sat down all day long while I'm working. So we got into it that last time. And I'm like, I had enough. I packed bags and I kicked them out. So we
Mm-hmm.
co-parented for 3.5 years. During that point, I had experienced homelessness. Me and my boys
Golly.
lived in a hotel for 4 months. He didn't help me. That's karma. He tells me, you need to pay your bills. You need to pay your rent.
While he at home with his folks. While he's still living at home with his folks.
To this day,
That's crazy.
do you hear me? Okay, so yeah. So the last place that I
10
moved to before
years.
this
The
was,
last 10 years he been living with his folks.
and if he wasn't with them, he was with me.
He was with you.
So yeah, so it got to a point to where before I pulled my weapon on him, what made me decide to get a weapon was when it would be times because I tried to be an open communicator. So I would tell him, if I didn't have my son on my weekends because I ended up filing child support and that was recommended because they
Mm-hmm.
were like, well, since you don't have anything in writing, in the event that he tries to keep
Mm-hmm.
your child, there's nothing that you can do. So
Mm-hmm.
I did that. So the custodial visits, I tried to be fair. We were supposed to meet at a designated place because I had a family violence flag put on our custodial agreement, so that way they know if this ever escalates or progresses to something else, that is I told somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So initially we'd have to meet at the police station, but then I started being lenient. I'm like, oh, that's too harsh, and he's calmed down, and I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
as afraid, and I think he learned his lesson now, so I'm gonna be fair. So I started picking or dropping him off at his parents' house. So I want my family back, all of this. Anyway, he started stalking me, and I would tell him on the weekends that I didn't have my son, where he was, or like if I didn't have both the boys with me. So there was one time I had company and I didn't have my boys with me. They were at my sister's house. 2:30 a.m. He's knocking on my door because he was door dashing. He door dashes and he works under the table, so that he doesn't have to pay me. And so at that time, I was living like far in the outskirts of our city in the suburbs. So where I lived, you had to intentionally be going down my street to know what's going on. So he saw a
Mm-hmm.
car in front of my house. He's beating on my door. He's calling me from every app. I threaten to call the police. He leaves. I'm like, and then he started asking my kids because he was still picking them up for like school and football. What are you doing? Where are you going? Well, he's asking them, where your mama be at? What your mama
Mm-hmm.
doing? Who is she with? I'm like, he
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna get it. So let me get something to make myself feel better. So I ended up getting a 380. And when I ended up being homeless and in the hotel for 4 months, I kept it on me all the time. And so he
Mm-hmm.
would, argue with me at the hotel. I moved into my apartment. I would tell him, because you weren't there for me while I was homeless, I don't want you having any access to my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I can meet you in the parking lot. You could I could walk my boys out to you to the parking lot so you don't have to come to my house. I would be sitting on my porch. He's walking up on my porch. And I know it's a lot. He's walking
Mm-hmm.
up on my porch. It made me feel unsafe. And so there was a time where I asked him for money. We got into it. He's picking up my son. I put my son in the back seat of his truck. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna let my son go with him because he keep disrespecting me. I go to my door. He follows me. He's beating on my door. He's beating on my windows. He's trying to come into my house. I pull my gun on him and I literally tell him, if you don't get your big ass away from my door, your family gonna have to fry fish to put you in the ground.
Dang.
I meant it. He calls the police on me because I put the gun to his head, the back of his head, and I walked him back to his truck because I was sick of it. Because I'm like, if I don't do something about it,
Yeah.
and because things keep escalating, I've been to the domestic violence places here twice. I've been a client twice at Safe Haven. That's what they call it here. I done been through CPS. I've told my doctors. I've told his family. I've told my family. I've told his friends. Everybody that knows us. Nobody has done anything. I literally saw where I was living before that if I had not done anything, I saw that address on my death certificate.
Yeah.
And I did not want it to continue to go on. With everything that I had seen before, I've had a gun pulled on me before trying to stop somebody else from being assaulted by their boyfriend. And he ended up doing 5 years. And then he ended up getting killed by somebody else when he got out for something else unrelated. So having already been through those things before, I'm like, I'm not gonna keep letting this happen to me.
Right.
And so when the detective called me 3 days after it happened, I spoke to him because I felt like I was justified.
Correct.
And I'm thinking, okay, we in Texas, the castle law, stand your ground, all of that, and they're real big on domestic violence here. A week later, after the detective called me, SWAT was at my door, beating on my door, helmets on, vests on. And I was working from home at this point. I had just started working from home, a medical job, like 2 weeks before. So I was still in orientation. They're knocking on my door. Thankfully, I had already clocked out because I was on my lunch break. They came in my door at like 12:21. I had just went to lunch at 12:15. I see them out my blinds. I'm like, oh, bleep. So I went out. I sure did in my little house dress. And they had a female officer out there. She patted me down. And I already knew what was going on. It was like literally 20 of them. This was on a Tuesday. This was October 22nd. It initially happened October 12th of 2024. I was in jail for 3 days. I was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. And because my kids were there, my baby boy had went upstairs, but my oldest was downstairs, and he's the one that told me, take the gun off of him. So they had enhanced it to assault with a deadly weapon with findings of family violence. So I ended up being charged with family
What?
violence. Yes, ma'am. So I was in jail for 3 days. My mom had bonded me out. While I was in jail, he gets an emergency protective order on me that includes my son for 91 days. He had my son's school flags. He had me flagged at my son's school. He had me flagged at the children's hospital because my son has asthma. And that time of year, he had really bad asthma flare ups. And so I didn't know these things until I had already gotten my baby back. So from October 22nd to January 22nd, I did not have my baby. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, December 15th, which is my son's birthday, he turned 8 years old. I could not call him. I could not see him. My family had to, mediate and get him stuff for Christmas. Well, they had to meet him and give him their stuff that they had for my baby for Christmas, but I couldn't do anything. So all of that, and I asked God, I'm like, Lord, keep me alive until I could see my baby and hug my baby again. I couldn't cry because I'm like, if I crumble right now, then I'm not gonna be able to, do what I need to do to see my baby. I don't care about him. And he knew that that was the only way that he could hurt me. And now, before going into anything like that, I'm like, I would die if somebody took my baby away from me. Like, I would absolutely die if somebody took my kids away from me. If I couldn't kiss my kids goodnight, or if somebody's responsible for caring for my kids and I could not be there, I don't know what I would do. So for 91 days, my baby was in his care at his parents' house. The only reason that I knew my baby was sick is because I got the My Chart notification because, of course, I'm responsible for him
Right.
medically, physically, financially. So a week later, after all this happened on Halloween, my baby went to the hospital for an asthma flare. I couldn't even be there, even though I was the one that had made sure before he was there for everything. He's showing them the paperwork, the court paperwork, where there's an emergency protective order. That if I come up there for anything, they are to automatically call the police. So that's the thing when they destiny swap, because if you don't call on them, they don't have no problem reporting you. So I played my part. I sure did. I cried my tears. I prayed, went to my wisdom council, all of that, you know, and I played my part. And the week of January 22nd, the day that that order expired, January 19th, I had like this uncontrollable pain in my left pelvic area. I was vomiting nonstop. I didn't know what was going on. It was just me and my oldest at home. And I told him because it was a Sunday and it was the day before, number 47's inauguration. I remember that too. And I said, if I don't keep any, if I'm not able to keep anything down, because I taught him how to drive. He was 16. I want you to take me to the hospital in the morning. I threw up all night. I had Zofran. I kept throwing it up. So I go to the hospital. They tell me I have ovarian torsion. They have to do surgery. My left ovary had twisted, so they had to remove it the same week of this emergency protective order expiring. So I'm like, oh, okay, okay, big God, big sandals. This how we doing it? I've been healthy all this time. I ain't went crazy. I ain't said it all. Uh, I done played my part to the fullest. Now, mind you, everybody that I done fell out with about not helping me when I was homeless, my family, everybody I done called out about the multi-generational abuse, they all talking about me right now. Because obviously I am crazy. I done pulled a gun on this man and I don't have my baby. I'm supposed to be this good mama. Talked about me like a dog. And my mama included, even though she bailed me out of jail. Um, so yeah, I had to have surgery that Monday night. That same night I was admitted into the hospital. And so I was in the hospital until Wednesday. The day, no, I was in the hospital till that Tuesday. Because healthcare. So even though I had this serious surgery, I was there a day. And
Right.
then
We need
they
these beds. Get on somewhere else.
that's exactly what they said. They're like, they call and they're like, yeah, we already have your discharge papers ready, and you're not really in any pain, and your blood pressure is managed, and you're able to, output urine. So yeah, we really need the bed, and we're not trying to kick you out, but yeah. So yeah, they already had my stuff ready. Yeah. So I was out the day before that order expired, and I was in so much pain. I could barely drive, but I'm like, it is what it is. I've been thugging it the last couple of years, like the most unimaginable stuff has been happening to me. So all I know how to do is just get up and keep doing. So that day I woke up and I'm like January 22nd. I'm not in the hospital. I'm not in jail. I'm not in a crazy house. I'm not in the morgue. I'm going to my baby's school. So all my paperwork that I had, and I had the date of the order expiration highlighted. And I went up there. I talked to the principal. They already knew what was going on because, of course, he took his jolly ass up there, and you
Right.
know, even though I was the one present for everything, but all of a sudden in these
You
90
see
days,
his
he
face.
took over
Right.
that role. So they had to call the school district's legal department to make sure that it was okay to release my baby to me, my baby that I birthed, that I still have epidural pains for. And so they were like, well, yeah, there, because there is no other legal paperwork saying that it has to stay this way. And because it does say here, January 22nd, 2025, so what do you want to do? So I took my baby and I transferred him out of that school because that wasn't even his right school anyway. I was letting him go to that school because his dad was still willing to come across town and pick him up. So I put him in his right school. And because he was on the parent portal still, I couldn't take him off because he was on the birth certificate because I tried to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were like, there's nothing that we can do. So whatever information that's released to you by law, we have to tell him to. So when I transferred my baby, he found out
Yeah.
and he was coming up there, like coming up there all the time. And then my baby was coming to tell me. And then when I transferred my baby, he got the flu. So he was out for like 2 weeks. Then there was like an Arctic freeze and all of that. So whenever my baby was absent and I would get those notifications, he would get those notifications. So because my baby was absent, he went to family court where he owes $25,000 in arrears and told them that I was a negligent parent. He wants to modify the custodial order and he wants primary custody because I took him out of his school and he's not in school. And I took him out of the basketball team that he had him signed up for. And what else was it? Yeah, I was affecting his social life and I mean everything. And
Anything.
then the paperwork, and then the legal paperwork of the case that I currently was going through
Mm-hmm.
because I'm abusive to him. And so one of my court dates, matter of fact, May 16th of last year, my court date for the case that I'm in, he had me served for child support court. I'm like, yeah, you owe me $25,000. But you got me served at court. As soon as I walked out, me and my lawyer standing there talking. This woman, and she, and I know now that they pay process service to look like anybody. So she just looked like she was just there. She was in jeans and a collar shirt and a cap. And she walked up to me with a manila folder. Miss Hogg, you being served. I'm like, what? I look at it, it's all of that. It's every email that he got from the school district that I also got for every
Mm-hmm.
absence, even though they were excused. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so he tried to make my life a living hell. So anyway, long story short, they closed that case, but now I'm still fighting this case because every month that the court date is set, the district attorney is never ready to go to trial. And I've been taking this to trial since August because I'm not taking a plea. I'm not signing for probation. I'm not. They tried to offer me 7 years.
7 years for what?
7 years probation, 2 years in prison. Well, the sentence for aggravated assault is 2 to 20 years in a Texas correctional facility. So yeah, even though I have all this documentation, and then little by little, the district attorney was like, "Well, the last time he was like, well, we'll get it down to a misdemeanor if she'll sign." I'm not signing for anything. So I have to go and report every month. I go to court every month. Yeah, I'm on probation, bond probation for this until it's done. And my probation officer, she's so sweet. She used to be a fourth grade teacher. She believes me. She talks to me about it. And she's like, I was for sure you would have been done by now. But they keep having me come back to court because there is
Everybody
no
get paid
evidence.
when everybody get paid, as long as the case open.
And that's what I said too. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. And you think about how many families got to eat ramen noodles to pay these lawyers so they can eat at those steakhouses downtown by the courts, going places that the families will never get to see. And then it's always the poor families that they.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to have a good lawyer. So thankfully, my lawyer, um, we're alumni, high school
Mm-hmm.
alumni. And he was also the lawyer that I had before he stopped practicing family law and strictly criminal law. He was the one when I did my child support case with this particular partner. So he knows about the family violence flag and everything. So yeah, yeah.
This is wild.
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot. I'm sorry.
This Harpo showed up on your property, harassing, stalking you. You
Yep.
didn't
And I
pistol
told my
whip him.
neighbors.
You
Mm-mm.
didn't hit him. You politely
Mm-mm.
held that gun up and walked him down.
I did. I did. That was
He's
the least that I could do.
trespassing
He is.
because I've
He is.
I've said please leave.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
they
the detective was like, I'm sorry. He said because I walked him from my porch into like the little area in between the buildings that was a public space, that's what considered it aggravated assault. That he was no longer a threat because he wasn't directly in front of my door anymore. Even though he had his hand on his knife and I saw it, and he also has brass knuckles in his pocket. He always carries that because for whatever reason he's not allowed to carry a gun because he has two DUIs. So yeah, and so when they looked up his record in this case, they're like, well, we don't really have anything on him as far as domestic violence, but just two DUIs, and we see that he owes you $25,000. And then, and yeah, you got evidence, and yeah, you got folders of the call logs and the text and the photos of where he's punched holes in your walls and all that, and your little slips of when you go to Safe Haven for counseling and resources and all of that. But it's not relative to what happened that day. So that's why. And then my attorney was like, well, the DA, he's pressing it because your ex still wants to press the case. He doesn't really have anything, but he still wants to press it because, and he's the only witness other than the detective that the DA has. But for me, it's my oldest son because my baby boy, when I told my lawyer, and I didn't know until a few months ago that my baby boy actually saw what happened. He looked out the blinds. But my attorney's like, because my baby is so young, he can't testify. But only my
Mhm.
oldest. And then my neighbor saw what was going on too. And I had told them about him before all of this happened when I moved over there. Hey, I'm a DV survivor. This is my ex. This is what he looks like. This is what he drives. If this is going on, know that it's not allowed. If you see him, you know what I'm saying? So they're willing to testify for me. But because this DA is dragging it out, this case has been going on for 18 months and it has not been dismissed yet. And it's been so frustrating because even if I wanted to get back into the medical field, I can't right now because this is over me. So that's what happens. The moment that you try and take a stand, if you're not documenting or you're not making the calls first, which I have, but if they have
You've
not been
called in the past?
prosecuted,
Whoa, wait. This changes a lot. You've called on
yes,
him in the
ma'am,
past. The
I
police.
have. Yes, ma'am. I can show you folders right now that I printed out, call logs. And then I can show you text where I've reached out to, yeah, because I keep purple folders, purple is our
Yeah.
color.
Did they did
Um,
they did they show up?
this is my court paperwork. This my charge. No, that's the emergency protective order.
Did the police ever
Yes,
show
ma'am.
up the times that you called them?
No, because what they said was, and especially like if I kept calling, that if due to staffing, they had to go to priority calls first. That's what they would tell me. So, like, if there wasn't like an active shooting, if there wasn't like blood or injury or any trauma, that they had to go to priority calls first. That's literally what they told me.
What okay, give me an example of a
And then this is
time.
that's my probation appointment paperwork. Um,
What happened
Safe haven.
when you called?
So I would tell him what's going on, or
Like
he's
what?
threatened me, or he's pulled a knife on me, or he's told me I'll kill you. And by that time, he'd leave. Well, if he's left, then he's no longer an immediate threat. But if he does come back, do give us a call. Let us know if he comes back. We'll see somebody out there, but we're getting somebody to you as soon as we can. And then it's hours and it's hours and it's hours and nothing. See, safe haven.
So you have record of calling multiple times for him
Yeah.
threatening your
Payment of
life
my
and
bail
safety.
bond. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The police never showed up.
Mm-mm. No, ma'am.
He comes and threatens
Emails.
again. You politely walk him out.
Yes,
He
ma'am.
calls the police and SWAT shows up a week later for you, 10 days later for you.
Yes, ma'am. Court date.
And now
Yes,
you
ma'am.
in court because he got all the
Yes,
time in the
ma'am.
world because he
Yes,
unemployed
ma'am.
and he lived
Yes,
at home with
ma'am.
his mom.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, I
Arnedria.
keep receipts for that reason. Yes, ma'am. This is one folder, mind you. This is one folder.
It should not even be like this.
Yes, ma'am.
But this
So
is
it's reality. So it's like almost danged if you do, danged if you don't. Because it's like either you be the victim or the defendant. It just depends on
this is
how bad it is for
crazy.
you and how willing you are um to stop it. And this is paperwork from CPS, the investigation where they, didn't find
And they
anything.
trying to get
And
you to go to jail for not hurting anyone.
mhm. These are like him, talking about me on Facebook, calling me recycle trash. Just him right there. Or let's see, call logs. So this is one of the call logs right here. So like he would call me and he was blocked. So this is him up. Hold on. This is him calling me from his parents' house more than once. That's me calling my brother. Hold on. Yeah, that's him calling me calling my brother, me calling the police, me calling my brother, him calling me from different numbers, block. Um,
This is
yeah,
crazy.
yes, ma'am. So these are call logs. Um, what else? And then when he was staying with me, because his other child support paperwork, before I packed up all his stuff, I took a picture of it so I could, get that information. And then this is him, the text cursing me out, calling me out of my name. Yeah. I printed out like the screenshots of me telling his cousin. So yeah. And then she asking me what I think it is. Do you think it's a lack of finances that's stressing him?
The
When you knew he was
okay,
broke.
okay. That's a whole nother conversation. We ain't got time for it.
Yes, ma'am.
This
Um, this photo right here is kind of faded out, but it's me trying to like outline with my hand like a hole in the wall that he had punched. Yeah, just a whole bunch. A
do
whole
you
bunch.
think it's the lack of finances stressing him out?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of his nieces reached out to me because she and his daughter, when they became adults, had, exchanged information about their experiences with him and mine. And because, he tried to make them not like me, and they realized, every time I was around them, it was always positive. I always loved them, encouraged them, spoke to them.
Mm-hmm.
So his daughter, his niece, and we all had brunch, and I showed them these photos and I talked to them about it. And they were like, we believe you. And so I'm like, if these kids believe me and these kids know something, because to me they're kids, surely the aunties, the uncles, the mamas, the daddy, the everybody, y'all know. And y'all playing in my face.
Yeah.
And y'all really
Oh
should
no,
be
they know.
gracious that I ain't bashed his head in sooner. And so for me, because of all this that's happened, I will go through it all over again for my respect and for the growth that I've experienced. Because again, I'd rather be the defendant than the decedent. And I mean that. And so I don't play with nobody about my respect, about my peace, about my well being, about my safety, my temple, my home, my sanctuary, my life. You're not playing. And then I got boys, and you think they finna see you try and punk me? And I not do anything about it because I don't want them jumping into it. Because my
Mm-hmm.
son, he was physically big enough, but I'm like, but when you dealing with a weaker person and an adult like that that's insecure and
Baby,
they feel like they losing they everything, so they don't care what else they got to sacrifice
at
or
all.
take down with them.
At all.
So if it meant for him to harm my son or even our child together,
Mm-hmm.
because
He
you
do it.
are harming our child that we have together, because you know that I'm his primary caregiver. You know that you never made a home for him to live in, or whatever you did for him in those 3 months, you did it with the help of your two parents and your sister that also lives with y'all.
Right.
You
You
didn't do
didn't do
that
it
by
extra.
yourself like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one deep over here. And so when that all that happened a year ago, I moved across town. So now my son is in a different school district, and I didn't have to put him in the parent portal.
Mm-hmm.
He still found out where we lived anyway, and where my son goes to school anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so he pops up at my son's school anyway. And they wouldn't even tell me. My son had to tell me. And then when I called them, they're like, "Well, he's on the birth certificate, even though he's not on the portal. But because he's on the birth certificate, it's not much we can do." So I brought the custodial paperwork, and
Yes,
I'm
there
like, even though he's on
is.
the
What kind of backward stuff?
Right.
Because here, I don't care if you're on the birth certificate. If you don't have, if you're not a listed pickup person or something at our school, you can be the blood dad, not on the birth certificate,
And it don't
and
matter.
you cannot go home with that kid can't go home with that person if you didn't list them as a safe person or whoever at the
Mhm.
beginning of the school year.
And so that was my understanding. And that had always been my experience before my baby boy. So when I seen other people deal with it, I'm like, so when I encountered it, I'm like, well, surely, I mean, because they know what it is. You're not on the paperwork, you're not on the list, you're not in emergency contact. And I explicitly explained in the application, hey, it's a DV situation. So it's the office attendant
This is wild.
that allowed this. Yes, ma'am. So I didn't know until that Friday. So over the weekend, I sent a scathing email to the principal. And, she talking to the front desk lady and trying to see what's going on. And then they call me and they try and come up with a plan. Okay, well, whenever he comes up here, we'll give you a call and let you know. But if he tries to get him an early dismissal because he's on the birth certificate, it's nothing that we can do. But I'm
That's
like, it is a
that's a
lie
lie.
because even on the custodial paperwork, it says that on Fridays after 6 p.m. But if you're getting him before 3:45,
That's a
that's not you.
lie.
Yes, ma'am. So it's like they didn't even try. And then even with the agreement of, okay, well, you'll call me whenever he shows up, they couldn't
They ain't
even do
doing it.
that. Mm-mm. So he coming up there having lunch with my baby, and then he bringing family members up there to have a moment with him because even while this is going on, I'm ordered not to contact him at all, which is what I wanted all along. I wanted you to get the hell out of my face a long time ago. But I'm gonna make you feel like you did it, you know what I'm saying? Because before this case happened, I also downloaded the Talking Parents app because it got to a point to where I could not talk to him amicably anymore. And so I wanted everything to be documented.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Talking Parents app. He refused to get on it. But then once I got my baby back, because I wouldn't talk to him on the phone or text him, I t- I would let my lawyer know. So my lawyer was like, "Well, call the police." So every time he called me, I call the police. I'm like, "Hey, this man got a case on me. This is what's going on. I'm trying to do the right thing because if I talk to him, I don't want it to be said that I violated my orders. I don't want y'all coming to pick me up no more. So this is what's going on." So they're like, "Well, just give us a call and document every time or just have him to get on the Talking Parents app." So that's the only way that he agreed to be on the other end of that. And so since then, I made it to where I only reach out to him if it's like a hellified emergency, like when my baby had the flu and his temperature was like 104.5, was it, Junior? Yeah, so I let him know that. And I'm like, okay, in case I have to take him to the hospital while it's a snowstorm going on, I want you to know this is what's going on. But anyway, he tried to kind of strong arm me for spring break through the app. And I had to tell him, I'm not doing it. This is for emergencies only. So unless somebody is headed to the upper room, I don't want to talk to you.
And if somebody head to
And
the room, that ain't got nothing to do with me. This is for
it
emergencies
don't.
of my kid
Yes, correct. It's above
who
me
is
now.
with
So
me.
and he's fine. So yeah. So he was like, "Well, the court order said." I said, "Well, how about this? If you feel like I'm not adhering to the court orders, why don't you go back to family court like you did before and see what they do?
That's it.
And while you there, go ahead and drop off that $25,000 you owe him
That's it.
and get him on some medical insurance because you're supposed to be doing that. Because I had him dually covered." And you just let everything fall when he stopped working in 2019. So yeah, so all of that, and that's just the stuff that I remember. And so yeah, so I'm still fighting this case. And so for the time being, I'm like, well, it pushed me to step out on faith anyway to work for
Mm-hmm.
myself because I got tired of working for other people. And because I do want to do more speaking engagements again, because all of this stuff had got me thrown off of finishing my book. It had got me thrown off of my speaking engagements and mentorship and all of that. Like it compromised everything. And so for me, I'm like, this is just my opportunity to take my power back, speak up, empower, warn other people so they don't have to go through what I did. hear the keywords, know what you're looking at when you see it, so you don't, be all in love like I was and thinking that, it's heaven on earth and it's really just hell, with a pretty bow on it.
Mm,
And yeah, because not everybody gets to walk out with they like. I'm thankful I did,
right.
and I've met other women since my case started that have gone through similar cases like me. And one woman was like, "Well, hell, you should have shot him because you would have got the same charge." And I see that now because I'm deep in the law now. Yeah, you know, because we have mugshot pages here, where they, have everybody's charges and everybody comments under the mugshots and all of that. And I'm like, all these people with assault with deadly weapon charges, and they in here smiling in their mugshot, and here I am thinking my life was literally over. And you tried to take my life from me. You tried to take my baby from me. You tried to change my reputation and what people thought about me, my career, my integrity, my character, everything that made me special. You tried to take away from me, and really it redefined me. So yeah,
This,
yes, ma'am.
baby, I was not prepared. You hear me? When
I'm
I tell
sorry, it's a
you
lot.
the whiplash,
It's a lot.
but I am so
So
this definitely gonna
yeah,
be a two-part because I'm just so thankful though that we were able to have this conversation in this much detail
yes,
with this
yes,
many moments to stop and highlight because people really don't get it.
they don't.
They don't get the how you got there. They don't get the why you
Mm-hmm.
stayed there. And people, what we don't
Mm-mm.
talk about enough, people don't talk about post separation abuse
Mm-hmm.
because they still you can get out and
Mm-hmm.
leave and they will still try to control your life,
Yes, they don't care.
stalking, harassing,
Yeah.
lying. Like this joker, this joker taking you to court and he owe you in court.
He owed me in court across the street from the court that we in, but you got me served over here because you thinking, okay, well, since you got this going on me, you gonna try and capitalize and do just a full sweep on me because you think you got the upper hand now because you got my name on
Right,
paperwork.
right. And that's all they
hmm
ever want. And they
That
they
is all they
live
ever
off
want.
of they thrive off of the feeling, making you feel or think that they can make you feel like you don't have anywhere to go or you're the one that's going to get
Mm-mm.
the most
Yes,
whatever happened to you.
detriment. Yeah, yeah, suffering. Because if you
Yeah,
ain't with me, I want you to suffer anyway. The only way you can have a good life is with me, or the way you can have a life at all is with me.
is with
So
me.
if you can't be with me, then I'm gonna
Mhm.
make sure the life that you have is gonna be hell
Either way,
until you feel like,
hell with me, hell
until you
without me.
turn around and come back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so yeah, but I refuse. Mm-mm.
This is outrageous.
It
Girl,
is.
God is good.
He is, and he's faithful. And so to even
Before,
say that I've been through any of
yeah,
that,
child, I wasn't prepared. I was not. That's all.
I wouldn't either. Because it was so much that I forgot. And then, because you when you make that will, that mindset to survive, you like, okay, I'm not gonna try and remember all of that. I'm gonna just carry what I
Yeah.
can with me, do what I can, trust God
Mhm.
with what I can't, and just go on and just okay,
Yeah.
it is what it is. So yeah, it's just so much. So yeah, I never thought that I would live through anything like that.
Crazy work.
It's a lot, ain't it?
It's a lot. Before we get off of here, though,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell people how they can find you, how they can follow you if they need that wholesome, holy, blessed, cleaning service that God has ordained you to thrive in abundance with. Tell them how they can reach you, how they can hire you, all things you got. Let them know.
Okay. So my social media handles are on Facebook. I go by my whole name, which is Arnedria Lachey Hall, Arnedria. My name, Lasha, last name Hogg. On Instagram, I am Queen_Hog. On TikTok, I think it's Queen Boss Hog, but I always see my first and last name. So I would just do both of them.
Okay.
For my cleaning business, I am under Bless Your Mess 817 because that's our area code here. So if you are in the greater Fort Worth or Tarrant County, North Texas area, I service homes of all kinds, apartments, RVs, trailers, she sheds, he sheds, man cave, whatever, garages, rooms, whatever. Um, so I am on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I don't really do Snapchat and all that other stuff. So I just, stick with the Trinity. I do videos, I do posts, and I hashtag them free therapy, talking about my domestic violence experience. And I also hashtag bless your mess 817. So depending on whether it's about, my life experiences, my personal stuff, or my business, those are my two hashtags. And so I look forward to seeing y'all follow me. I appreciate the support. I appreciate this platform. Thankful to be here to tell my story. Thankful that I can tell a story. I'm thankful that I do have a testimony. Because you never know what you're gonna go through.
You don't.
And so I'm just thankful that this was mine and that I was able to come out on the other side, even if it's not over. But even the stuff that I did go through, I thought was going to kill me, and it did not.
It did
So if
not.
I can go through that, the stuff that you're afraid of losing, starting over, getting your money back up, refurnishing your house, or whatever it is, God will restore. You just do your part and get out because the most important thing that you can lose that you can't get back is your
It's
life
life.
and your sanity too, because they'll drive you crazy too. But your life, all of the other stuff you can get back. So yeah, that's it.
Girl. Woo! I can't wait to get this one out there. You hear me? Golly. Sis, I can't say thank you enough for spending these last dang near 3 hours, 4 hours together.
Oh Lord.
It has been a privilege. It has been a blessing. It has been all things amazing. It's a privilege to be able to sit across from you and see your light that is still so vibrant through all of the darkness that
Oh,
you've been
thank
through.
you.
So we know that God got you. We know that God got great things in store for you and your business. I'm excited. I'm rooting for you. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Fort Worth. Shout out to Tarrant County in the building.
All right.
Y'all,
817-682, baby.
hey, hey, gang, gang. Listen up. Thank you guys so much for staying, for tuning in. This has been another amazing episode of the Can't Be Broken podcast. In the meantime, in between time, we are gone. Pew, 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 pew. Fitty, 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 fitty. Woo! Child, girl, listen here, listen here.